I know that they were making a big deal about him making his first start and getting back with the Blackhawks. He had a great night, stopped 41 of 42. I didn't know much about his story until I was like, what do you mean comeback?
Yeah, well, he was highly touted. He was first round, 13th overall pick by the Panthers. He was supposed to be the next goaltender. They ended up picking up Bob, or I guess, Bob was kind of fumbling the bag this time. They're like, well, thank God we got Knight. And I remember Bob fell down 3-0 to Tampa. I think that was like the 21 playoffs. Spencer Knight came in, almost erased the deficit down to, I think it was game 7. Obviously, Vasi and them took him out. But then stumbles a little bit. I think he posted like a 901, 902, a couple tough years, throwing down the Always Hungry, the American Hockey League. Goes out, actually last season was in the substance program for the NHLPA, out for a considerable amount of time. Comes back, obviously, I think he backed up, might have been the third guy, still gets a Stanley Cup ring. But Bob's found his game the last 2 years, so you're not going to take the starting job. They bring in Seth Jones, who Chicago ate 25% of his salary, and then Spencer Knight goes over to Chicago. This is now the goaltender of the future. And within 2 days, I love the fact that he was playing in all his Panthers gear. I used to love when guys would get traded and they have the old team gear, like Mike Smith gets traded down to Tampa. He's rocking the Dallas gear. Something about that I just like. He's even using the Panthers bucket. But he goes in against the Kings, 41 of 42 for a debut. Have yourself a night, a 9.76 save percentage for the win. 4-1 against the Kings, closes them out at home. Fans were loving it. And also, just from a goaltending perspective, he is so smooth, in control. If you watch the footage, there's always something in front of the puck. He's closing down holes. He's great. He's elite. Spencer Knight is a guy I'd love to have on the show. I'd love to pick his brain just on his comeback the last 2 years from being in the PA assistance program to now. Probably going to be the future guy in Chicago.
I'm not taking anything away from him at all, but I will make a reference, or I'll draw parallels to golf season, which is coming up here very quickly, and with the melt we've been getting. I just got off a road trip, about 13 hours west of here, drove all the way out to Edmonton to meet my mother, my brother, and his fiance, and brought the whole family out, and the melt is happening all throughout Western Canada. So believe me when I tell you, the golf clubs are getting shined, and we're getting ready. And I think every golfer, when it comes to the start of the season, the first maybe half dozen games, if you're an avid golfer, the first half dozen games are like, oh, I'm feeling good, because you're not overthinking it, right? You're just like, I'm just happy to be out. I'm just happy to be out on the golf course. I'm just be happy to be swinging a club. And after about 6 rounds, then you start thinking, oh, well, maybe I can turn my elbow in a little bit more. Maybe I need to speed it up. Maybe I need to change my footing. I just hope that he can stick with what he's good at and be able to play well up to his potential. Because a lot of times, it's like, oh, one game, that's it. He's the savior. This is it. Oh, my God, we figured it out. Give it a little bit of time. Give him a dozen games.
Well, do you remember when Scrivens, he went to Edmonton and he put up that 60-save goose egg versus the Sharks? So like, we found the next Grant Fuhr.
Bingo.
And then they chased him out of town the following season. And then while they were chasing him out of town, they brought in Victor Foth, the Swedish goalie from the Ducks.
Yeah.
He was playing great. Our next savior. We found another Billy Ranford, and then they chased him out of town the following year. They bring in Anders Nilsson. Oh, we found our guy. They chased him out of town, just as revolving carousel of goalies. So.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, man.
That's a terrible team in Chicago, too. That's a real bad team.
This is another, and I'm going to say it again, this is another great example of why we need to treat goaltenders a little bit more like Major League Baseball, because in baseball, pitchers are the same way. They're like, oh, you had one good game. Oh, see you later. Back to AAA. You need to have a bigger, the NHL, hockey in general needs to allow for 3, maybe even 4 goaltenders on your everyday roster. It just, I think we're at that point.
You know, you'll like the story. So this is probably like 5 years ago. This is a really good Bob story. So 5 years ago, Panthers were playing at home. The Calgary Flames were in town. I'm watching the Panthers play. Bob comes out first for warm-up. Bob's starting. This is exciting. I'm really excited to see Bob. Bob heads off, maybe like with 8 minutes left in warm-ups, and then Montembeault starts taking all the shots. Montembeault comes out to start the game. I'm thinking to myself, what the heck just happened? Bob didn't look like he got injured or whatnot. Apparently, Bob had just played against the Leafs 2 nights earlier, goes to warm up against Calgary, goes in the room, goes and finds Joel Quenneville, and he says, Q, I'm just not feeling it today. Bob, we're like 2 points back from the playoffs. We need you. Not today. Quenneville flipped his shit and then ends up starting Montembeault as a result. Like that's embracing that baseball mentality. Just not feeling it today, a little bit too much mileage.
Wouldn't you? I'd much prefer a guy tell me that.
But that's an old school coach, though. Like when I tell you you're starting, you're starting. I'm counting on you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts of your cue.
Yeah.
And one of the winningest coaches of all time, too.
If you enjoyed what you just saw, we do new clips every single day, twice a day on the Clips channel. You see clips right here. And beside Dave's crotch, we have a full-length show every single Sunday, right by my hand.
Click right here.